So, some documents have been posted in the divorce proceedings of Elijah Schaffer, a right-wing commentator, and boy, oh boy, is it a doozy. So, some highlights here is he is on drugs that is generally. Let's see. He's on drugs that is particularly prescribed for schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, those kind of things. And then another drug is typically for insomnia. And then there's another drug here that is also for depressive disorder, anxiety disorder, just major mental health orders. And then he's on Xanax and hydroxyzine is also for anxiety. So he's got all these things that he's using for anxiety. That is things that are normally for schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, major depressive disorder. That's what quetiapine is. And so all of this is mentioned in the court documents, and they even put in pictures of it for the judge. And the reason that this was all filed is because custody issues with their children. His wife is going to be talking about all the reasons that she says he should not have custody of the children. In the interest of the children, which is, of course, redacted. And this was in Texas. And this just is letting you know that this was in February in Texas. And so volume 1 is listing all the different exhibits here. Apparently there's some audio recordings and video recordings. I don't think we have any of those. That would be interesting. So the court calls number 26-1148-362 in the interest of the Schaffer children. We're here today on a temporary restraining order. Mother is present with counsel. Father has been served. So it's sounding like to me he may not even have shown up. Oh, dude, that's not a good look. That's not good. That's not a good look to not even show up, dude. No. You should not have done that. Deputy Rose, did you call the halls? I don't know what that... I'm not sure I understand what that means. Now, how did I end up out of that? I gotta go back here. I ended up somewhere I don't want to be. Dad nabbit. The one thing that I hate about Kiwi Farms is the way their fucking documents are uploaded. These individual pictures that take forever to get through. Okay. Did you call the hall? So I basically am assuming that means he wants to know. You've given them every opportunity to get out there, and they're like, yeah, we did. And there's nothing. All right, so yes, sir. No response. No response. Set for 2:30. It's currently 2:42. So at this time, we will proceed. Mr. Pfizer, I'm assuming that is his wife's attorney. Thank you, Your Honor. John Pfizer, appearing for the mother, petitioner Kezia Schaffer. Yep. Ask court to take judicial notice of the file, including the return of service that's been on file, showing that the respondents was personally served with citation along with notes of this hearing. I'm sorry, counsel, that was way too fast. Okay, so the court will take judicial notice of the court's file, which includes the service return, personal service for Elijah Schiefer on file. You may continue, Mr. Pfeiffer. You join a long list of courts. Reporters had told me to slow down. Your Honor, I call the petitioner mother. Court, please come right up here, ma'am. Please have a seat. Mr. Feister, okay, you're just going to swear her in? The court, yes. Come right up here and raise your right hand, ma'am. When sworn, if you would, please have a seat, Your Honor. May I approach? The court, please. Kai Schiefer, having been duly sworn, testifies as follows. Direct examination. And raise your right hand, ma'am. If you would, please have a seat. Your Honor, may I approach, please? And how long have you been married? 7 years, and you have 2 children before the court, correct? Yes. See, I'm trying to do this in a way that you all could possibly read it. And what are their names? He's 3, almost 3. He's 1.5. So they have 2 sons. 1.5 and 3. And ma'am, you and your children moved to Texas on November 25th, 2025. Is that correct? Yes, sir. And prior to that, you were a resident of Australia. Is that right? Yes, sir. For a few months, and prior to that, you all lived in Florida. Yes, sir. Correct. And you, your husband, and children all left Florida, and you all had a house in Denton County, correct? Yes, sir. And that lease took effect on November 25th, 2025. Yes, sir. November 26th. And we're hoping that last month, 3 months ago. Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. And your intention is to file for divorce as soon as you have 6 months of residency here in the state of Texas, correct? Yes. But in the meantime, you have found yourself compelled to file this SEPCR action and to seek a temporary restraining order, correct? Yes, sir. You are concerned about the safety of your children being around your husband, right? Yes, sir. You're concerned because your husband's mental health issues, correct? Yes, sir. Among other things, yes, sir. And just briefly, your husband is, for lack of a better term, a professional internet influencer, right? Yes, sir. He uses his platform that he has over 1 million followers and makes money on this, correct? Yes, sir. And he has a political views and some other things, and that's how he makes a living. Yes, sir. But unfortunately, a lot of his views are fairly extreme. Are they not? Yes, sir. Okay, so this is a little better. All right, and so that was the end of that. Okay, so I guess every single time it's going to go back. All right. I guess it's as good as it gets. Okay. Hey, in fact, he has got himself banned from the country. Oh, wait a minute. What? Okay, so he's gotten himself banned from Australia because of his views. Okay. Yes, now One of the things you're concerned about is that he told you about some of his mental health, is that he has told you about some of his mental health diagnoses, correct? Yes, sir. While he's being treated even here in Denton County. Yes, sir. And what are some of the diagnoses he's told you that he has? He's told me that he's been diagnosed with manic, and also that his psychiatrist gave him a schizophrenic medication along with Xanax and some other sleeping medications. And I think one is pronounced Seroquel. You've been concerned that you left the marital residence you have been so concerned that you left the marital residence a couple weeks ago, correct? Yes, sir. Right before you file this action. Yes, sir. You're still a resident in Denton County. Yes, sir. You don't want your husband to know where you live, right? Yes, sir. Although you think he probably does anyway, yes. And you, Exhibit 1, is what you're asking this court for, correct? Correct? Yes, sir. If I were to ask you each and every one, this is what you're asking the court to do, correct? Yes, sir. To give you sole managing the court. Mr. Weister, slow down. All right. Sole managing conservator of your two children, correct? Yes, sir. You're also asking that any possession and access he has to be supervised by either, and we listed off some of the others, or there's a Denton County list of approved supervisors, correct? Yes, sir. And you're also asking that he pay child support. He makes well over a few hundred thousand, right? Yes. Right? A year? Yes. Well, he told me it's like 500,000 a year. Wow. That's insane. That's what he makes as an internet influencer, right? Yes, sir. And for example, the house that you're living in has a lease of how much? Of I think around 4,000 a month. So Exhibit 2, by the way, is the lease, true and correct copy of the lease for the house here in Denton County, correct? Yes, sir. And all right, now you're asking that he also continue to carry the health insurance. Yes, sir. Correct. And to carry for the children. Are you concerned that he's also using illegal drugs? Yes, sir. I don't know, but he's told me that this is the longest he's ever been sober in 12 years. And I've seen him take many illegal drugs and alcohol abuse over the years that we've been married. Wow. Yikes. Got some pop and some tea here that I'm drinking. As part of that, the request is that he be ordered to take a hair and nail drug test at Arc Point, Denton here in order to have a screening. Yes, sir. And you're also ordering a psychological evaluation be done by one of the 4 people that we have suggested, correct? Yes, sir. And as part of the court's analysis, in order that he paid for that, you've been cut off. What's the analysis in order that you pay for that? He paid for that. You've been cut off of all funds, right? Yes, sir. And so right now you're being supported solely by your parents in Australia. Yes, sir. Who are taking turns literally flying here to be with you. Yes, sir. Correct. You have no employment here. No. You are an Australian citizen. Yes. Wow. And ultimately you would like to return back to Australia? Yes. Right. But for right now, we anticipate this. You're asking for the injunction that we requested here, correct? Yes, sir. And you're also asking that he be ordered to pay or do well our family wizard and all the other things that are requested here, correct? Our family wizard? What is that? Yes, sir. Now, let's just go through the exhibits. 2, let's start with Exhibit 1 we've offered. Or am I going to offer Exhibit 1? Court Mothers 1 is admitted. All right, and let me go through the real quick release just to show some of the extreme of some of the things. You have downloaded a number of posts from his public social media, yes. And that is what he uses as his platform, right? Yes. So when he posts these things, they're being posted to literally over 1 million people, right? Yes. All right. So some of the things in Exhibit 3 that shows that he's posted, correct? Yes. Okay. And this is a true and correct copy of this post, correct? Yes, sir. And we'll offer Exhibit 3, the court. Mothers 3 is admitted. So, for example, he says that drugs have been planted. There'll be a public trial by the FBI, correct? Yes, sir. He thinks he believes the FBI are trying to kill him. Correct. We look at Exhibit 4. This is another one of his posts that you had. This is recently, correct? Yes, sir. Mr. Pfizer, offer Mother's 4. Court Mother's 4 is admitted. Okay, if we move on to Exhibit 5, this is yet another one of his posts, correct? Yes, sir. And again, he's just ranting. Exhibit 5, well, we'll offer Mother's Exhibit 5. The court Mother's 5 is admitted. Again, we also have threats to your family. He doesn't like your parents, does he? No, he believes that my parents and my brother are abusing me and my children, and he thinks that they are involved in setting him up and stealing his car and a whole number of things. Okay, so again, some of the delusional behaviors, right? Yes, sir. And Mother 6 is a copy of one of those, yet another public media post by your husband, correct? Yes, sir. Okay, and so offer Mother's number 6. The court, Mother 6 is admitted. But question by Mr. Feister. Mother's 7 are some of the direct texts that you've had from him, right? Some of his rantings are in ravings. Yes. These are part of the basis that you're concerned, right? Yes, sir. And Mr. Pfeiffer offers Mother 7. Court Mother 7 is admitted. Mr. Pfeiffer's Mother's 8. These are copies of the medications, prescription drugs that you have found at the house that he was taking, correct? Yes. And Mother's 9 are the MD Web, but basically descriptions of what each medication is and what it does, correct? Yes. And these are true and correct copies of these photographs in the download, right? Yes, sir. Offers Mother's 8 and 9. The court Mother's 8 and 9 are admitted. Now, let's just give the court a little example of some of his rantings. We do have a number of audio, very short clips, right? Yes, sir. So we're going to start with Mother's 11. This is an audio between you and him that you recorded, right? Yes, sir. This was something you recently recorded? Yes, sir. I'm not sure which one this one is. It's an audio recording of him. Yeah, this one I think is a couple of years old. It's a couple of years old, yeah. This is historical, yes. So let's just start. We have Mothers 13, 14, and 15. 13, 14, and 15 as well. 12 are all videos that you have. Well, 11 is an audio, correct? Yes, sir. These all bear the voice and image of your husband with the exception of 15, right? Yes, sir. 15 is actually another post talking about allegations and quoting your husband, right? Yes, sir. And one of the concerns you have is they're quoting him admitting that he abused a child when he was a youth pastor, right? Before he was an internet, yes, a boy child, yes. A 16-year-old boy, sir. When it was that. And so when he was that, and so these are part of your concerns about him in this video. These things show some of the extreme views and some of the concerns why you have, and some of the concerns why you have concerns about your children being alone with him, right? Yes, sir. Mr. Professor. So I'm going to offer 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, Your Honor. These exhibits are admitted. Does the court want me to play them, or we have entered them into evidence? So I don't need to play them. The court will just assume we've got them. Just to summarize, these show some extreme behavior, anti-Semitic behavior, showing that he has incredible hostile views about women in general, referring to them as nothing but holes. Correct? Yes, sir. He is, and these are some of his extreme views that got him banned from Australia. Correct? Yes, sir. Oh, I think it's stupid that I don't believe in people getting banned just from a country just because their views are unpopular. I've got to figure out why my phone is screaming at me. It's vibrating. And I just realized I gotta put my. Hold on a second. Who knows how this sounds since I don't have my earphones in. Can't believe I've been streaming 20 minutes and did not realize. Okay. All right. All right. So, concerned about him. Just summary, these show some extreme behavior that has incredible hostile views about women in general. Yes, sir. Do all these things cause you to be concerned about him being alone with your children? Yes, sir. In fact, you've done everything you can to not let him be alone with these kids, right? Yes, sir. And you have serious safety concerns, and is why you left your house that was $4,000 a month and went to go live in an apartment that he does not know about, right? Yes, sir. And you're asking the court to allow you to basically keep them secure there, not to tell them where you live, right? Yes, sir. Until we absolutely have to. And let's see how the psychologicals and some of the diagnoses flesh out. Yes, sir. Do you believe that everything you are asking for is in your children's best interest? Yes, I do believe that. As far as the passive witness. All right, I don't have any questions. You may stop down, ma'am. Anything further? Well, I'll move up some attorney's fees for anything further, Mr. Wright? Well, I'll move up some attorney's fees for interim fees. Okay, as an officer of the court, you are under oath. You may testify seated from counsel table as long as you don't talk too fast. It's that last part that's hard, I know, and you're not alone. My name is John Pfeiffer. I am an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Texas. I have been since 1992. I am board certified in the area of family law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. I've been continuously board certified since 2003. I have been practicing in Denton County for the vast majority of these years, actually the entirety of those years. I'm familiar with the reasonable and necessary fees charged by attorneys handling family law. My hourly rate is $700 an hour. I have a board certified paralegal who bills at $250 an hour and associate attorney that bills at $315 an hour. I believe that all these rates are reasonable fees. I would estimate the total fee that my law firm has incurred for the petitioner's mother and pursuing this preparing for the case is about $7,500 for fees representing that. I'd estimate that we are going to need a minimum of another $25,000 to finalize this case if the father is going to make an appearance and contest the case. Mother has no assets at the point other than her parents showing support. My retainer was paid by her parents. I passed myself. All right. Anything further? The only other thing that I will make the court aware of is that since the filing of this divorce or the sepulchre, the father filed for divorce petition in the state of Florida. He arranged for mother to be served like 3 days ago. There's no hearing pending in that court. No orders have been issued by that court. We have retained a Florida attorney to file a plea and abatement. The opinion of the Florida attorney is that no one is a resident of the state of Florida because they've all left, and so he anticipates getting it. But I want the court to be aware that there is a competing court that might issue orders in the future. Okay, if you get served in that and need me to do a conference with any judge in which the case is filed under UCCJEA, I will. I'll let you know, but in the meantime, I'm anticipating that our Florida counsel will file a plea and abatement and special appearance and will arrange for that case to be dismissed. We already anticipated the judge. He knows he thinks the court will dismiss without the need of troubling you with a phone call. Okay, well, but I want the court to know that and brought it to the record. Thank you very much. That's on the record. Based on the evidence, I will grant the relief requested, including the TRO, as well as the attorney's fees and interim attorney's fees going forward. So please present an order. Yes, sir. We will go back on the record. We pause. Now I realize we left off exhibits 2 and 10 and moved to reopen the case to admit mother's exhibits 2 and 10. All right, they were discussed, so I will grant the request and mothers 2 and 10 are admitted. Thank you. State of Texas. I, Crystal Beller, reporter. Okay. So these are some of the exhibits. Elijah. Lying to the press about me and withholding my kids from me? What is the point of this? Can I talk to my kids on FaceTime, please? This is bad for the kids. Who is advising you in this? Anyone confirming your narrative barely knows me. Everyone who knows me well, which is not you since you've not been around me much, agree I'm fine. I've shown no cards yet publicly either. Let's avoid that. I'm trying to keep the peace here despite your family's nastiness. Can you have our boys call me, please? Call me? I miss them terribly and I want to say good morning to them. The family is going to be dragged into a very public endeavor. Their names will be national headlines. I don't want that. Do they want their privacy? Let's mediate. Press have been approaching me about you, dad and brother, about your dad and brother. I've withheld comment, but they want to blast them in headlines. Can we please avoid that and figure this out? I have pressed with pieces on your mom and Aiden's racist messages, and I mean, it means he sent people that violate Australia's hate speech policy, which I has a relationship with Nick Fuentes and all right as well. I've been holding them off, avoiding contact for now. They've been calling me, asking about your brother's police job, etc. It's very weird and I don't plan on responding. Someone in your family is leaking. I just want to see my kids, please. Please let me speak to my kids and end this nonsense, or press will drag your entire family into national headlines. There are pictures of your brother Eli drunk on my office floor, lying in the street, etc. They have it all. It's going to online permanently if we don't take this private. Some people playing me are playing you. They have it all. It's going online permanently. If we don't see this private, some people are playing me or playing you. You have no friends. I'm the only one not cooperating with press who have dirt somehow on all of us. I want peace and the kids to see me. I'm not trying to release anything on you. I'm just communicating what people have. There is more to that might release on you guys. Someone called me about Rod McCarvey bearing a rifle after the 1994 gun ban and his firearms he let his sons use on his property with pictures of his sons illegally handing his guns and Eli McCarvey, etc. It's not good. Someone has been leaking shit to the press about us both. The difference is I haven't been giving in, unlike you guys, because I know how the public shit works. This is my specialty. I don't play games with my family. I look out for you guys and have been protecting your family and denying everything or not responding. The Australian press is contacting me and my lawyers. It's going to be an international story. Can we stop this now? Lots of stuff coming out if we don't call off the press and take this private. I can call them off. I have friends in the press and can probably get them to withhold and respect our privacy. Time is running out to take this private. Press will make everything public if you and I don't talk within 48 hours. Does your family want to be in an international story? Her dad's guns being handled by foreigners? I don't know who leaked this stuff. Probably Eli. But we need to make this private now, or we are all going to suffer at the hands of the press forever. No going back. Choice is yours. You think you can destroy me? You can't. I just want to co-parent our kids. That's it. The press wants to destroy us both, and your brother is playing their game. I will protect you and the kids at all costs. One day, you'll realize I was... One day you'll realize I was actually on your side. Your family played you. Look, I would never leak anything or tell anyone anything, including the press. I told the press to respect our privacy and let us handle this behind the scenes, but they want a headline. at your family's expense and then ruin all of us to get it. Let's avoid that. Actually solve this privately and tell the press to F off. Sound good? Hey kids, where are our kids? I don't know. I mean, the thing with the text messages, it sounds like to me like she is saying that that's all of that's bullshit. All of it is being done to try and intimidate her. And maybe they're maybe he's talking about stuff that she's like, what are you talking about? That's very possible. So, yeah. So, here's the original petition file. That was the transcript of the hearing, and this is the this is apparently what the court hearing was about. And so this is explaining how they once lived in Australia, but they've been in Texas since about November 25th, 2025. Oh, that should have been. That should have been. Oh, well. There are no court ordered conservatives, court ordered guardianships, or other court ordered relationships affecting the children. Information required by section something something. No property, consequences owned or possessed by the children in the subject of the suit. The appointment of the parents or joint management supervisors would not be in the best interest of the children. It is the best interest of the children that petitioner be appointed sole managing conservator of the children. Petitioner requests the court to apportion the rights and duties of a parent set in section 153. Alternatively, the court finds it to be the best interest of the children. Petitioner and respondent should be appointed as joint managing conservators. Petitioner should be designated as a conservator who has the exclusive right to designate the primary residence of the children, and exclusive right to make all medical, psychological, and educational decisions for the children, as well as exclusive right to apply for and maintain passports for children. The primary residence of the children should be restricted to Denton and contiguous counties so long as respondent resides within Denton and contiguous counties. The court should award petitioner the exclusive right to enroll the children in school. Respondent should be granted the possession access if the court finds to be in the best interest of the children. Respondent should be ordered to provide support for the children, including the payment of child support and medical and dental support in the manner specified by the court. So, support for the children, including the payment of child support, medical and dental. Intentionally communicating with the petitioner in person or in any other manner, including by telephone. So this right here is when the petitioner requests that there was to be temporarily restrained immediately without hearing and after notice and hearing to temporarily enjoin pending the further order of this court from intentionally communicating with the petitioner, either digitally or in person. Finding the petitioner in person or any other manner, including telephonic or another electronic voice transmission, video chat, in writing, or electronic messaging to take unlawful acts against any person. So not to be able to call her at any unreasonable hour in an offensive or fictitious manner, intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly causing bodily injury to petitioner or to the child of either party, threatening petitioner or child of either party with imminently bodily injury, intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly destroying, removing, concealing, and transferring, otherwise harming or reducing the value of the property of one or both of the parties, the instance throughout the authority of the court, intentionally falsifying your writing or record, including electronic records relating to the property of either party, canceling, altering, failing to renew or pay premiums on or any manner affecting the level of coverage that existed at the time the suit was filed, opening or diverting mail or email or any other electronic communication addressed to petitioner. So he wants them to protect any messages that they have had between each other. He doesn't want him to be destroying anything. That's also what this cleaning data content from any social network profile used or created by either party, including the party's children. Tracking or monitoring property or motor vehicle in the possession of petitioner without the petitioner's effective consent. Hiding or secreting the children from the petitioner, withdrawing the children from enrollment in the school or daycare facility without the children, where the children are presently enrolled. Use the children or of another party. Consuming, including marijuana or THC product, and consuming any controlled substance for which the respondents does not have a valid prescription. Permitting an unrelated adult with whom the respondent has intimate or dating relationship to remain in the same residence with the children between the hours of 10 p.m. and 8 a.m. As the basis for the extraordinary relief requested below, petitioner would show that before the filing of this petition, respondent has engaged in the conduct set forth the affidavit as Exhibit A, based on what affidavit petitioner requests the court to grant the following relief. Until further order of this court. So, petitioner requests the court, after notice of hearing, to make temporary order for the safety and welfare of the children, including but not limited to the following: appointing petitioner as temporary sole manager and conservator, primary residence of children, the exclusive right to make all decisions for the children, order to respond to provide support for the children, denying respondent access to the children, alternatively rendering a possession order that is in the best interest of the children, and ordering that if the court finds it in the best interest for respondent to have possession and access to respondent's possession and access be supervised at all times by a commercial supervisor, and the respondent be ordered to pay 100% of the cost. Order the respondent to join from coming within 500 feet of petitioner's residence, and that's for any drop-off and pick-up of the children. Order the respondent to submit a UA hair and nail drug test. Test and ordering the respondent to sign all necessary HIPAA releases that all drug test results are released directly from the lab to petitioner's attorney. Appointing Blake Mitchell, Susan Fletcher, Donna Milborn, or other agreed upon evaluator to conduct a child custody evaluation, ordering the respondent to pay for 100% of the costs associated with that evaluation. Order respondent to produce copies of income tax returns for tax years 2023, 2024, and 2025 on a financial statement, and current pay stubs by a date certain. Ordering the parties to participate in an alternative dispute resolution process before a trial of this matter. Order respondent to pay a reasonable and necessary interim attorney's fees, costs, and expenses. Petitioner requests the court to dispense with the necessity of a bond, and petitioner requests that other notices, hearings, further, blah, blah, blah. Withdrawing children from enrollment in the school, daycare, so he's not allowed to pick them up. Hiding to get the petitioner. Seems a little bit repetitive. Unsworn declaration. My name is Kaiser from my date of birth. It's March 12th, 1996. And I'm requesting the court to allow me to withhold my current address. I am about the age of 18 years old, and I fully content to make this declaration. I do not have been able to. We own no property in Florida. I have not returned there since we left the state. My husband is an influencer with his various social media platforms. He has over 1 million followers, over 800,000 just on X. He often posts controversial comments. To his online comments, he is currently banned from entering the country of Australia. My husband has filed for divorce in the state of Florida. I have not been formally served with this position yet. He apparently had represented that we serve all our residents in the state of Florida, despite our having left Florida and rented a home in Texas. I have already detained a Florida attorney to represent me in that divorce and seek its dismissal. I'm concerned about the safety of my children, myself and my children. Elijah's behavior has become increasingly bizarre. Over the past 12 to 18 months, I have observed significant deterioration in Elijah's mental health, behavior, emotional regulation, and perception of reality. In recent months, this deterioration has escalated to the point where I no longer feel safe. My concern is such that my parents are currently taking turns coming to the United States from Australia so that I'm not alone here with the children. I have also recently moved to an undisclosed location due to my fear of Elijah and what he may do. Elijah has been under psychiatric care in recent months. I do not know the name of the doctor he has been seeing. He has informed me that he has prescribed multiple psychiatric medications, including Xanax, Seroquel, and that the therapist wanted to put him on schizophrenic medication. He also told me that medical professionals described him as being manic or experiencing a manic or medicated manic state. Although over the past approximately 2 months, it appears that Elijah has not been consuming alcohol. For most of our marriage, he drank alcohol on most days of the week. Elijah has recently stated to me that this is the first time he has been sober since approximately 2012. Given the length of time he reports having consumed alcohol regularly, I'm concerned about the relationship between long-term alcohol use, recent cessation, psychiatric medications, and his current mental and emotional stability. Based on his recent mental instability, medication use, substance history, and periods of sedation or agitation, I'm concerned about his ability to safely drive or supervise children, particularly if he's transporting them while impaired, overtired, or emotionally dysregulated. During the same period, Elijah has also been consuming large quantities of kratom daily, along with caffeine and nicotine. He has discussed altering medication doses on his own and has at times apparently heavily sedated, disoriented, and excessively groggy during the day. Other times he appears agitated, impulsive, and unable to regulate his emotions. These fluctuations in behavior have been unpredictable and concerning, particularly given his role as a parent to young children. In recent weeks, Elijah's behavior has been increasingly alarming and detached from reality. He has sent me numerous hostile, accusatory, and erratic messages, often containing extreme allegations, sudden mood shifts, and demands for immediate responses. When I do not respond immediately or attempt to set boundaries, he becomes aggressive and threatening. To give some examples, Elijah has accused me of being involved in international felony planning across Serbia, Germany, Mexico, Canada, and Australia. He accuses me of grand theft auto against him and that I am the main suspect in the crime along with my parents, Rod and Sydney McGarvey, and my brother, Eli McGarvey. He said if I called him and denied my involvement, that he would move me from the suspect list. These messages have continued for days now. He has told me that he believes my children and I have been kidnapped by my father or brother and that my children and I are being harmed by them. He has told me he has filed a missing persons report even after I told him the children and I were safe. He has called the police to do a welfare check on me at least twice in the last few weeks. I have spoken to the police and told them the children and I are safe. The bizarre behavior has not been limited just within marriage, but also to his whole public media persona. Many people online close to him have mentioned that they feel his behavior is manic. On February 3rd, 2026, Elijah posted on social media to his response that I am a victim of serious targeted felony crimes. I am not suicidal. They have kidnapped my family. They have stolen my money. I will bring justice. I need the public to know I'm in Virginia. The government is aware. I believe the FBI is trying to destroy my life and kill me. I do not know where my wife and kids are, and I cannot get a hold of them. They are filed as missing persons. They have gone missing. Last informants confirmed someone in my household set me up. They planted drugs and said I was a criminal. This will be a public trial by the FBI. These social media posts were only lit live for a short period of time before being deleted. However many people have captured these posts, and this began to create concern amongst Elijah's followers, whether they suspected that Elijah may have killed his family. The post is attached here too as Exhibit 1. To my knowledge, these claims are entirely false. No law enforcement agency has contacted me or my family regarding such investigation. The accusation caused me significant fear as I felt a level of paranoia and loss of insight that I have not witnessed previously. In the last few days, Elijah has repeatedly called me evil and accused me of being a witch and practicing witchcraft. I am a devout Christian. Elijah's behavior is continuing to escalate, and some unbelievable claims and accusations will become more unsettling. There appears to be a certain pattern to these allegations. Increase in hostility and accusation, then pivot dramatically to declarations of love and care before the cycle starts again. On Tuesday, the 3rd of February, further online controversy about alleged work regarding a parent dossier that reveals all the details about FTV's collapse. Elijah is the CEO of FTV. He is drinking and substance abuse affair with Sarah Stock, Elijah's former employee, treatment of his wife's sexual habits, perversions, and alleged prostitution. Some of these accusations were backed up by voice recordings of confessions and screenshot evidence. I bring this to your attention because I believe the will send an already unstable Elijah into further chaos. He also believes I am behind the dossier. I had nothing to do with it, and most of the information was information I did not know. Elijah has repeatedly attempted to exert control over me through intimidation, particularly regarding finances and parenting decisions. He accused me of theft and fraud for asking funds from our joint marital accounts, despite those accounts being shared property. He has since emptied our joint account, blocked, canceled all my debits and credit cards. He has used profane and aggressive language, demanded immediate repayment, and accused me of deliberately causing financial harm. He has also attempted to assert unilateral control over the children, telling me that I have no legal right to relocate or make decisions for them without his permission. His statements were delivered in a threatening manner and have made me fearful of asserting independence or seeking safety for myself and the children. This pattern of behavior has caused me severe emotional stress and fear. I'm deeply concerned about the physical and emotional safety of me, myself, and our children. Elijah's erratic behavior, medication use, substance history, emotional volatility, and what the potential public collapse of his career may also cause him to do. Create an unpredictable and unstable environment. I do not feel safe engaging with him directly. I'm afraid that without immediate legal boundaries, his behavior may continue to escalate and place me and the children at risk. I made this statement because I genuinely believe that Elijah is currently experiencing symptoms of mental health disability that impairs his judgment and perception of reality. For these reasons, I respectfully request that the court grant a temporary restraining order to provide immediate protection for me and our children while further legal proceedings and assessments take place, including him in possession of the children. Okay. So the February 27th, where is standing order for the Denton County District Court that applies in every divorce suit and every suit is maintained. So this apparently is just normal stuff that's done in every single uh this is just standard stuff that I guess they do in all of these filings. And this is the Florida case here. Wow. So Elijah is a bad dude apparently. Apparently. him and the Cordeline are besties, according to that. Yeah, it's why it's like there's so many of these people that I just do not. I just don't take any of them seriously. All right, let's see. What have I missed here? Justin, Eric Swalwell's attorney released a statement announcing that they're considering suing those responsible for orchestrating this representable campaign of lies. Oh, goodness. Ugh. That's Ralph and Scarlett kissing. Ugh. Ralph has flap on his arms. Well, you know what? I have flap on my arms. Like, you know. It is what it is. Ew, gross. Ugh, I did not need to see that. Stop! No. Ugh. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has officially signed a new law renaming a 120-mile stretch of highway as President Donald J. Trump Highway. Why? Oh, goodness. Ugh. I'm sure some people think that, yes, he's just the greatest president in the world, and so therefore he deserves a highway named after him. I mean, I voted for the guy 3 times. But you know what? Naming a highway after someone is normally something you do when a person dies. We don't normally make, our society, our culture doesn't normally make living monuments to monuments to living people. It's just kind of, I don't know. This is not something, as far as I know, it's not something we typically do. Ethan might get flagged now. Oh no. Oh. It's a cute puppy, even if it's AI. And there was a post here. There's someone here. What am I looking for? And it was Andy. Is who I'm looking for. Andy Orski. Yeah. Update about the Kino Casino clip channel being taken down by the quartering. So let's. I mean, it was like the guy's only source of income was posting casino clips. That's just weird to me. But I mean, I suppose that could be a thing. Yeah, I mean, I know. I'm always eating or drinking something. Mm-hmm. So let's go to YouTube here and see if I can find this. What? Why is he warning about tornadoes? Every single time he has had that graphic, this graphic here, that claims Ohio is going to be in the thick of it. Dayton never is. But anyway, let's Nestor of Stalin. It was weird to me because it was Aaron talking about the quartering. What is this? So this will be both about the HRO and the Kino Casino. He made some interesting comments here. I was wondering, wait a minute, do I have sound? Do I have sound? I might not. I not be sharing the sound here. Hold on a second. I hope that I wasn't sharing Worski's saying and didn't have sound, but oh well.
Talk about what my attorney and I talked about after it was over. Patrick Melton just blatantly no-showed a court appearance, which doesn't make anybody happy, especially not the judge, I don't think. And
I was really confused about the idea that he was getting away with this, because keep in mind, he was saying it was an issue related to his back, but at the same time, he was able to attend Hackamania and travel to Hackamania, but he says that he can't go to court. And I'm like, what? How does that even make sense? Like that
provided a bum doctor's note. Now, a doctor's note is not he couldn't file for a continuance. The judge gave him an opportunity to file for a continuance if he said, I'm not going to engage in any harassing behavior at Hackamania. But he did. He did. He ran the shows where, psychos were talking about my dick and showing pictures that they've kept of me for 2 years, which is healthy psychologically, I think. And so he provided this doctor's note, and my lawyer looked into the doctor's note. It took him 2 minutes, not even. Patrick Melton did not go see a doctor for his back and get an excuse. Dr. Steve wrote him a letter from Hackamania. Mel just didn't want to get his fat ass on a plane, and so he had Dr. Steve write him a letter and saying, oh, no.
If that is really what he did, then the judge should be pissed and be holding him in contempt or something.
His back hurts. My son, he can't come to school today. So that was annoying, but it wasn't just annoying to me, and apparently there's going to be some looking into that, which is good. But as far as the thing that did take place yesterday, it's scheduled for June, which is nice. I'm so glad that it's finally getting done. And it did cause the other party, it did cause Nick to have a crash out at my lawyer. Now, apparently he verbally accosted a woman outside the courtroom by their own claims. But then after the hearing was over, after the gavel, and we're off the record now, you guys are good to go, Nick can't control himself. I don't know if this is a brain thing. I don't know if this is a history thing. I don't know if it's a degradation thing. I'm not sure. But he goes up behind my lawyer. He comes up behind him and he goes, Mr. Johnson, you should research the statute on harassment and maybe take some CLEs on it. So he's pissed about the CLEs, which, by the way, is not Brian Johnson's fault. Brian Johnson isn't the one who told him he can't be a lawyer anymore because of his CLEs. That's not, Brian Johnson had nothing to, I don't know if he thinks there's a grand conspiracy where Brian Johnson's on some board, but he came up behind Brian, who's doing a killer job, by the way, and he goes, you should read the statute on harassment and maybe take a CLE on it. And Brian's just like, this punk. And he goes, I'm sorry. And by the way, the judge is standing right there, and the judge is going, what is he doing? And so Brian, knowing what he's doing, he goes, I'm sorry, what was that? And Nick comes up behind him. He goes, I said you should research the statute on harassment. My lawyer goes, I know, I'm kidding. I heard you. He wanted him to do it again so that the judge would see again, like, the behavior that he's engaging in. And oh boy, did he. And it's just, I mean, the inability to control oneself in a setting like that is, I mean, it's remarkable. And everyone in the courtroom, after he stormed out after that, we're all looking around and we're like, what the was that? So it was an interesting day yesterday. But as far as what happened between the gavels, I'm very happy about it. I'm excited that one's coming to an end. And I think the other one is coming to an end as well. I think they want to talk. The vibe I got was they wanted to talk to Patrick about his little note. And then that's coming to an end as well. So that's really nice. We can be done with that. It's just been a bitch to get these guys to comply with anything. Like, I mean, the judge tells them to do stuff. They just don't do it. And it's dragged this whole thing out for so long. Meanwhile, Brian and I have just said, whatever you need, Your Honor. Whatever you need, Judge. we're here. And just the rest of it is like childish defiance. It's been very strange. And I'm sorry, Annoyed Wawa Supervisor sent me oh, here we go. I should bring these up on my computer and not my phone. But it says, stop eating like shit. Maybe do a CLE. Maybe I should. Maybe I should stop eating cookies and do my CLEs. And so this morning I see Dave Smith's show where I could learn a little something about the world and everything else. Or there's a 10-minute Illicit Clips Keno Casino clip where they're going to talk about, they're still talking about this Jeremy thing, which is amazing to me. I'm like, all right, I'll punish myself. I'll watch more of this stupid 45-year-old men fighting about who's a bull and shit like that. Okay, I'll give it a shot. And I noticed something. I wasn't listening to like the content or the context of the things that were being said, but instead, and maybe.
So this was an interesting thing. Like, I mean, I thought that is he no longer chill with the casino boys? That's what I'm wondering. As I sit here eating my salad. He's because he makes an interesting observation here about the casino boys, and I'm wondering if he's trying to. It seems like something that you would do when you're trying to plant an idea into people's heads and create a rift and create controversy where there wasn't any. That's what this sounded like to me.
This is the old radio guy in me. I was studying a dynamic, and it's a really interesting dynamic that's starting to take shape. And look, I don't watch them religiously, so maybe this is a common thing, and it's been this way for years. But I have to ask, if you're a Keno Casino fan, does PPP hate Andy Worski? And I'm not making an.
No.
Accusation. I'm just saying, like, I listened to it, and it's like he kind of treats them like shit. I mean, I'm listening to them, and it'll be, PPP will do his gimmick. Yes, oh my God, oh, this is the craziest thing you've ever seen. Oh my God, and he'll start going off, and he kind of gets that preacher righteousness about him.
Here's what I've always kind of thought. I kind of felt like, I don't know if there's a name for what they do, but like their whole thing is that PPP really knows how to get going and just let the zingers fly. And sometimes to me, it's like Andy is fine with being like, yeah, you're right. And then I think he is also the one that organizes all the clips and gets everything put together for the show. I think now he makes something here that might be true, and it might be true that PPP has a tendency to cut him off a little bit, maybe.
He kind of almost like he's huffing his own farts a little bit. And Andy Worski, the co-host, he'll try to first of all, in order to get in the door, he's got to use a crowbar. So he's like, Ash, this is amazing. You have to understand that. And then it'll always be PPP just steamrolling over him. He's cooked, buddy, because he's a cuckold. Oh, you can't. Oh, it's crazy. And Andy be like, it's like if and he starts to make a point, and it's like, he's so cooked, it's over. And it's like, I almost audibly said, while I was setting up the show, I almost yelled at my phone, let the fucking guy talk. It's very strange. I think I noticed it watching Pod Awful. I was watching Jesse, and he's like, he doesn't let this guy talk. And I'm like, maybe that's Jesse just, with him. And then I listened to this 10-minute clip today, and I'm like, he doesn't let this fucking guy get a word in edgewise. Like, what's... And I'm starting to get this vibe. I'm like, does he want to go solo? Because a lot of these guys who do shows online...
And they've been doing this together for how long? And, I mean, to me, the idea is that he kind of does most of the talking. And really, this is the case with his co-host. Aaron does more of the talking, and the co-host, whoever he has co-hosting with him that day, they're kind of more of the sounding board. The energy maybe and the dynamics is a little bit different, but they're just there to like give him someone to physically talk to instead of just what I'm doing, just talking to dead air. You know what I'm saying? And then I think Andy Worski is the one that gets a lot of the kids together and organizes that shit and then plays it. That's kind of what I've seen has been going on. So I think PPP needs him because I think that organizing everything and getting the information that they need to have a show is what Andy excels at. Worski just excels at overreacting to everything and then allowing Andy to kind of react to it and sometimes kind of egg him on a little bit. But I don't know how that translates into the idea that he wants to be solo. To me, PPP needs someone like Andy, or the show wouldn't be least bit organized.
You know, I learned not to listen to this shit 10, 12 years ago, but like a lot of guys who do this shit online, that's the only feedback they get is like fans DMing them and stuff. And I'm starting to think that maybe Ashton's getting some of those fan DMs of like, Worski's useless, you're carrying him, he's dead weight. Because
where is he going? I don't know where he's coming up with this.
Then you start to do the solo show where the co-host is an inconvenience and you treat him with almost like spite. Almost like you don't like that he's there. You resent him a little bit. And I'm getting a little of that vibe. And I could be way off. But it seems like there's maybe some DM fart huffing going on. You know, you're the star of the show. Worski doesn't do shit. But every time Worski pipes in, I'm interested to hear what he has to say. And he just gets shut the down. It's working for him, right? I mean, it's working for the guys, so you can go for it. Let's go to Anawali says PPP was very riled up. Yeah, I don't know if he's got to dial that back, or I don't know if that's just the dynamic. Like I said, I don't listen. I listen to clips when there's a topic I'm interested in. So maybe I'm way off base, but it just feels like every time. It was literally every time. 100% of the times he tried to talk, it was shouting over him, buddy. It's like, let the guy. He's got something important to say too. Maybe your co-host could say something, and then that could bounce off of you, and then you could run with that. It says kind of like the way you treat Johnny. Exactly. Now you understand what I'm talking about. $1 from Coltrane says, so like you and Johnny, he's the star and treats you with boring contempt. Right. I get exactly. It's like when Johnny comes in here and I try to talk and he interrupts me because he thinks I'm an untalented bore and he wants the show all for himself. This guy gets it. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what the issue is. Johnny's always cutting me off. Johnny's always treating my opinions like they don't matter. And to be honest with you, it's starting to take a toll. It's starting to hurt.
So that was just. I'm not really. I'm wondering what. I'm wondering where that came from. Like, where does he get the idea that he hates him? "10 favorite folding surprise art lessons for kids." Why? I do not want Did not want this, no.
Hey our friends, this video contains 10 of our favorite folding surprises.
I don't know why this was from 3 years ago. And I don't know why they thought I wanted to see this. I have no idea.
We didn't post.
Well, let's see here. Hi, John. Late disability. That was very strange. Very strange thing for him to do and to say. And I might try to figure out how to just clip that part of it. So this is about the
Then I get
hearing.
to court, and there's somebody there. I'm not going to say who it was. There's somebody there, and they're writing something.
There is some thoughts from people that this might be Mama Kay. That's what some people think that this is who he's talking about right here.
Something down, and there's a sentencing hearing going on before ours. And this person writes down on a pad, Nick verbally accosted me outside the courtroom. And I'm like, damn, that's pretty fucked up. And that is an interesting way to start. And then, lawyers going to chambers, all that stuff. Then we start. I'm not going to talk about any of the stuff once we started. All right. We're going to finish this thing up in June. Thank goodness. We're going to finish all the stuff from August. I'm really pumped about that. I'm really excited. After the hearing, it was a little weird. After the hearing was over, and this wasn't on the record, so I'm not going to talk about anything that happened on the record. After the hearing, a truly troubling thing happened. And between someone saying that, like, Nick verbally accosted them outside the courtroom, which is, and the demons thing, it's just very odd behavior. He comes up behind my attorney as we're sitting there after everything's been adjourned. And as he's leaving, he turns around and he can't help it. He goes up to my lawyer and he goes, "You should look up," and he's like panicked. He's like, "You should look up the statute on harassment and maybe take a CLE on it." And the judge is right there and he's looking at this and everybody in the room is just going, "What the fuck?" And Brian, cool as a cucumber, he goes, "I'm sorry, what was that?" And he turns around as if Brian's being serious and he starts to go, "You should look up the statute on harassment." And Brian goes, "I'm just kidding. I heard you." And then he leaves. Strangest fucking thing, man. Really, really weird. Just a weird day of weird shit. But all in all, I'm very happy with how everything turned out. It's very odd behavior to like.
It is very odd behavior.
I don't even know what that was. It's just it's a lack of control. And for people asking, no, I did not get called a in court today, which is nice, I guess. That's kind of I save people calling me for my own fans.
Back into an episode of The Lawyer You Know, and in today's video, somehow the vile and disgusting allegations
So, yeah. I mean, if anything that he said about what happened, and it seemed like somewhere, I don't know if it was maybe Twitter or if it was his locals, I did see where it appears that Nick seemed to indicate that that may have very well happened, that he did in fact say that, which is say something where he talked about, he thinks that the lawyer should read up on harassment or something. And so here's some interesting. It's the latest of things posted on Kiwi Farms. All right, so I was looking through this and I couldn't see where Nick actually commented, but been underneath Stalin 19's clip says that Aaron knows he did get called a faggot in court today. That's the funny thing for me. Like, none of this should be funny to you. None of it should be funny. There's nothing funny about it. I mean, it's funny in the sense that, it's kind of bizarre. Some of it is kind of bizarre. Some of it is kind of weird. But as far as it being like funny, like this isn't funny. It's sad, and sometimes his behavior is a little bit disturbing. Because yeah. So I'm gonna do something real quick here with my settings, because it turns out when I have to look to the right, it says that I'm looking in the wrong direction, and I'm not. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I've got it right. Yay! There really is nothing funny about going into court and calling another man a faggot. Like, his entire existence now is publicly making a fool of himself, so the dabblers that hate him can say, haha, and got called a faggot in court. Anyways. Saying under your breath like a petulant child doesn't count, Nick. No, he didn't. Yeah. Fat Sean isn't buying that one. Someone's like, prove him wrong and release the transcript. Nick, prove your our sandwich loving friend wrong again today. Release the transcript. Transcript's gonna get released eventually. I really do hope that someone is. Nick crashed out on Aaron Sawyer. Toe talked again this morning during yesterday. Mel no showed, and he had the sick note from Dr. Steve. He says that that's something. Some looking into that. I hope that they're looking into that, because to me the big thing is, again, you were able to travel to Vegas for Hackamania, and you were talking on one of the panels saying that you weren't going because of your back. And at the time I'm thinking, he's not being serious, is he? And no, he's being serious. He was being serious. And I'm like, you can't be at an event. You can't travel to, I don't see how you can travel to an event, say that you're too sick to go to court, but yet you could make it to that event. What? How does that make any sense to anybody? Oh, Mama K did in fact post. Okay, wait a minute. Let's see, wait a minute. Okay, there we go. It was a busy time here for me, and yesterday was no different, but thankfully I was able to make it to Nick and Aaron's hearing. I've been trying to make a video about it. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to make one I'm happy with. Public speaking is not my thing. Okay, wait a minute. We're not sharing this. There. Okay. Now we're sharing it. All right, there we go. So for now, here's a brief update teaser about what happened. When I first got there and was walking toward the palace, I looked up and saw Nick and Kayla crossing the road in front of me. As soon as Nick saw me, he yelled, "You need to get a hobby, you stupid," or something to that effect. I yelled back, "You mean a hobby like going to a hate convention like Hackamania?" Lordy. So it was Mama K. Alrighty. When I got upstairs, I looked down at the street and saw Nick and Kayla walking over to my vehicle. For some reason, that was the opposite direction they had been walking before. As for the hearing itself, unfortunately, a lot of discussions were held behind closed doors, but there are still a few interesting moments to talk about. Like some puzzling info and questions regarding Melton's doctor's note. Multiple outbursts by Nick, 3 to be exact, and Nick's own behavior being the catalyst that opened the door for discussion about his recent behavior that the judge most likely overheard. Discussing the discussions that most likely would have never happened if he hadn't lashed out at Aaron's lawyer in front of the judge. Ooh, I had a particular humorous view of that tantrum, by the way. Oh, Lordy. Transcript. Minnesota Public Records. Keep watching for a freaking transcript because we need it. We need it. Discussion that most likely would have never happened if he hadn't lashed out at Aaron's lawyer in front of the judge. I had a particular humorous view of that tantrum, by the way. I hope to fill everyone in on all the details soon. There's a possibility I may join me Copio on stream when he covers the hearing if we can coordinate our schedules. Aw, I wish I could have you on. Here's a video of them coming out of the courthouse. This video was not taken by me at around 19 seconds. You vaguely hear Nick having another outburst, yelling at me again. I started walking towards them, replaying, saying, "What?" They ran off, no response. Let's play it again. Because I can't hear anything. Looks like Kayla was with him. Oh shoot, there's a really loud car outside. Huh. I couldn't really make any of that out. I heard her say what. That was it. Couldn't make anything else out. Right after that, I recorded them pulling out his muscle car. Let me know in the comments what you think his car sounds like. Well, someone says you should really get. Well, she tried it, but it just wasn't very good. It just wasn't very good quality. That's great. I'm so glad that you made it there. I am so glad you didn't allow him to scare you off. He is totally fine with people attending. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Ethan Ralph has been caught buying likes and live viewers on Rumble using his real email address. Q Farmer has access to an API from the site VIP likes, and they can search either by IP address or by email. The IP address from this purchase geolocates to Las Vegas. wait. Can has access an API from the site via IP likes, and they can search either by IP address or by email. How does it work? Let's see this. Asmongold calls out the quarterly for deplatforming Kino Casino's YouTube channel. Every single instance of somebody trying to shut down critics ended up happening as it creates a larger effect that just makes more people aware of it.
And what's your opinion on what's going on with the quartering? I think that the quartering is I think he's totally fucked up, if you want me to be honest. I think he's totally fucked up. And I think it was a massive mistake to try to deplatform Kino Casino. I can't see why he would do that. I think it was ridiculous. And he's
Totally
gone, bro.
was.
Well, I'm just saying in general, right? I think it's very, very odd to do something like that, and I don't really know why you would want to. And he's spiraling. Yeah, I mean, he kind of is. I mean, I would say it's something like that. And he's felt he's a cuck. He's finished. Maybe. I don't know. And isn't a coffee band called Coffee Brand Coffee? Yeah, I think it's something like that. And the quartering got really washed. Well, I think the problem is that a lot of people don't like the concept of being criticized and having people, like, you know, criticize them, obviously. And because of that, I think that what happens is that they think that they can shut somebody down doing that, but almost every single instance of somebody trying to shut down criticism, what ends up happening is it creates a larger effect that just makes more people aware of it. And I think that's the main issue. No, it's weird to go after his wife. The thing is that it is weird to go after a person's wife, but it's even weirder to have a channel shut down. So the problem is that if you have, like, being harassed or something like that, you're really trying to report people for, like, bullshit, and getting people's channel taken down. Like, there are a lot of reasons why you can get a person's channel taken down that you could rationalize, justify, make excuses for, or something else. But I think the reality is that if you allow something like that to happen, you're just going to make everything a lot worse. And it's called the Streisand effect. Yeah, it is. And they didn't go after his wife. Well, what I'm saying is that nobody wants to have other channels get shut down because there is some sort of issue that you had with the channel owner, right? And I think that is a very, very toxic mindset to have.
There's Asmongold.
What's your opinion?
Morbidly. Oh my gosh.
Opinion what's going on with the quartering? I think that the
Let's see what the latest that we get on Swalwell by just doing a search here. What the fuck is this? So we'll just run for this instead of California government when any of this information, accusation, video come out. What is this video of? And who's the guy at, is this Swalwell? That's hard to see. That's why I executed Lana Drews saying the disgraced politician drugged and raped her in 2000. She's planning on violating a police report.
A model in Beverly Hills, and I also owned a fashion software company. I had contact with Eric Swalwell on 3 separate occasions after meeting him socially. He offered me connections to further my software company, and I also had an interest in local politics. He invited me to 2 public events. I knew he was married at the time and that his wife was pregnant. He was my friend. On the 3rd occasion, I believe he drugged my drink. I only had 1 glass of wine. We were supposed to go to a political event, and he said he needed to get paperwork from his hotel room. When I arrived at his hotel room, I was already incapacitated, and I couldn't move my arms or my body. He raped me, and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died. I did not consent to any sexual activity. Although I did not undergo a rape kit at the time, I disclosed the assault to the people closest to me. I also recorded these events in my handwritten calendar. The assault and its impact were later documented during my therapy sessions at a sexual assault center in Connecticut. It had a profound impact on...
I mean, normally what conservatives would be doing at this point is saying, why now? He could be as guilty as sin, but he could also not be as guilty as sin. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's true. And, a lot of people don't want to, I don't think people really want to hear that. But it's very, very possible that, it's not the way that she's portraying it. And I think that we need to hold this with the same doubt that we would try to hold it when we hear someone coming out after all this time. I don't know. It's just weird to me that this is coming out now.
My mental health. I self-medicated in an unhealthy way. I did not want to live anymore. I cried all the time for years. At the time, I was in a dating relationship with a boyfriend I was fully committed to. I've never cheated in my life, and I would never have engaged in a consensual sexual encounter with Eric Swalwell. That reality further underscores the non-consensual nature of what occurred. It was a politically unusual and intense time in Beverly Hills, and I was considering a run for city council, which placed me in proximity to political figures and events and added to the pressure to remain composed and silent. Eric was aware I owned a software company, and he spoke repeatedly about his ability to make introductions in Silicon Valley, referencing his political representation and influence there. I was not interested in him romantically, but I was interested in the business relationship and professional connections he offered to provide. My delay in taking action against Eric was driven by fear, not doubt. Fear of his political power, his background as an attorney, and his family law enforcement ties. I have never doubted what happened. I stand with the other women who have come forward.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I want to believe her, but well, this aged well. Not embarrassed. That's fundraiser for Eric Swalwell on Wednesday night. He had so many brilliant and doable ideas for making California affordable so all families and business can flourish. He'll be a wonderful governor. This is sarcasm, right? Does this one have sound? Who is Martin Shkreli? Hey Grok, remove all cosmetic plastic surgery from Sydney Sweeney. Oh, that was a weird little. Old video images of a young Air Swallow verbally abusing a Chinese biology teacher who is to let Swallow take his young daughter Feng Fang to prom. This is not Eric Swalwell. This is something else. Feng Fang was not his prom date. New video from 2022 has emerged showing Rep. Eric Swalwell living it up on a yacht in state trap with Dickie Ritchie and a large group of women. He spotted twice, dressed only in a robe. The women were reportedly replaced with fresh women at some point and all told to keep his presence there hush hush.
Dots, but I can connect them even if it ain't right, babe.
Why do there have to be music? What? What is he doing? It's Inception. That's the latest is. Yeah, I'm gonna tend to agree with this. Los Angeles DA launches investigations while after fifth accuser comes forward with shocking allegations of rape. I, oh, Lord. Oh, hold on, let me go. Look at the media.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lana Drews. In 2018, while I was living and working as a model in Beverly Hills, and I also owned a fashion. Okay. Oh. Erica Curtis canceled their Georgia TPUSA event appearance over serious threats. Oh. That's what. Oh my word. People are so dumb. No, it was no, there is actually the
That's crazy. Charlie would have canceled. Maybe. It depends on the threats. But she is now the only parent of 2 children. So I think there was no interest in it. She plans cancellation on threats from us. Oh. He's feeble. What? Well, it's unfortunate that she had to do that. What? Oh. Donald Trump has announced on Fox News that the Iran war is over. So we're not.
Me about the Iran war, about NATO. One thing that I'll leave you with, I said to him, Mr. President, you keep talking about the war like was. I said, is it over? He said, it's over. Join the whole interview tomorrow on Mornings with Maria, Fox Business, 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern. I'll see you then. I just left the president.
Yeah, no, it's not over. What? I mean, hostilities have wound down, but it's not over. I just I just don't. This is just not true. It's not. The war is not over. What? Boom! About fucking time. The Justice Department moved to dismiss the seditious conspiracy conviction of Proud Boys and Oath Keepers members Tuesday, undoing one of the Biden administration's most celebrated victories against those who it said inspired January 6, 2021 attack on American democracy. If the judge approves the dismissals, it would raise the most serious convictions from the sprawling investigation of the U.S. Capitol riot, one of the largest federal investigations in U.S. history. President Donald Trump has long lambasted the January prosecutions as an injustice against his supporters, even referring to those in jail as hostages. On his first day in office, Trump issued pardons to over 1,000 people convicted in the attack, every defendant except for 14 people, each of whom had their sentences commuted. One of those people was pardoned in March 2025, and the department now says 12 others, 8 members associates with the Oath Keepers, and 4 from the Proud Boys should have their convictions dismissed. Dismissing the convictions would also be a major blow to the Biden Justice Department, which across 3 trials had argued that the attack on the U.S. Capitol was more than just a political protest that got out of control, rather a violent attack on democracy, and an effort to keep Joe Biden out of the Oval Office by any means necessary. Defendants whose convictions may be dismissed are Oath Keepers leaders Stuart Rose and Associate Kelly Meggs, Kenneth Carlson, Jessica Watkins, Roberto Menuda, Edward Vallejo, Joseph Hackett, and David Marshall, and Proud Boys Associate Ethan. Proud Boys Associate. Proud Boys Associate Ethan Nordilla, Joseph Biggs, Zachary Arell, and Dominic Pizzola. The spokesman for U.S. Attorney for Jeans declined to comment. Well, if a judge won't agree to fucking dismiss it, then he just needs to fucking pardon them. That's what he needs to do. If you follow the case at all, there was some serious issues with FBI informants and just whether or not the FBI might have been setting them up. It was just all kind of crazy stuff. And they really don't even know for sure just how many people in the crowd themselves were undercover agents. There was a lot of questions raised by that, and they really couldn't get an answer. If the judge... I'm writing something on Twitter here. And if I'm right about that, then that absolutely should be the fucking case.
This helps conceal storage while adding color that ties into the while keeping the process quick and practical. Primer was chosen for better adhesion, and the surface can later be sealed with polyurethane for durability. After whitewashing, the larger cabinet doors were modified by cutting out the center panels. The openings were covered with hardware cloth and secured with a staple gun, then framed with trim to hide rough edges and create a cleaner finish. Once reinstalled, the cabinets shifted from dark and dated to a lighter farmhouse style. For added function, fabric panels were installed behind the mesh using simple dowel rods. cabinets. This helps conceal storage while adding color that ties into the red wainscoting. The fabric is also easy to change over time. The total cost for this upgrade was $21, including $18 for fabric. To enhance the farmhouse and quilting theme, wooden spools were used as drawer pulls, with a mix of sizes for added detail. The new hardware cost $22. Overall, the cabinets were fully transformed into bright, character-filled features that better match the farmhouse kitchen style.
Ugh. Police officer in Colorado was sentenced to 7 years prison for raping a 15-year-old girl while he was on duty. Parking lot in Colorado, and he sent one of the girls away and got his victim to a clear area. He took his body cam off and assaulted her. Mm-hmm. Wow. I want to see something because I want to know how it is that you go about checking to see if somebody might have bought something. I've got to go to my. Trying to find where it turns out that he was buying the views. Someone on Kiwi Farms figured it out. Okay, so all this. This isn't what I thought it was. I thought they were able to somehow figure it out, but it looks like he accidentally shared something to allow people to see. What?
I just found out that the ladies of the internet
Let me make sure that this is the sound. I don't. You just found out that the ladies of the internet
have come up with yet another ridiculous beauty trend called the tired girl aesthetic, where they use makeup to make themselves appear absolutely exhausted because according to them, it looks chic. Well, I gotta be honest with y'all, even though I'm
What?
a dude with a mustache, I kinda wanna look chic too, and I do feel tired all of the time. So I'm gonna try the tired girl aesthetic for myself. Welcome back to Country Drag, y'all. Everyone say hi to my sister's senior photo. Today we're tapping into our inner insomniac and transforming ourselves into a sleepy, chic princess. And in case you were wondering, I'm currently in my sister's childhood room because I'm back in Illinois trying to find an apartment in Chicago. I grew up in a very sleepy corn town, like way out in the sticks, but I never moved to Chicago proper because it always felt like it was too close to home. But now that I'm in my mid-30s, I decided to make the move. Anyway, speaking of sleepy, the tired girl aesthetic really revolves around the eyes, so you can kind of do whatever you want with your base. For me personally, I think I'm gonna use like a super cool toned contour and lay it on like super thick so I have a very hollow, exhausted look to my face. No matter what you choose to do, before you grab any concealer, grab some liquid blush first. You want something that has more of like a toasty or berry hue to it, and you want to place it like right in these spots. You can use a sponge to blend it out if you want, but I'm just gonna use my fingers. And you're basically creating this like messy, almost hollowed out raccoon eye thing. Then I'm grabbing a brush, dipping it into some concealer, and as you start to
This
add it, you
cannot
want to
be
be
thing.
careful not to completely cover up what you just did, and instead use it to create a nice subtle blend that makes you look a little less corpsey. Once you're feeling good about that blend, you can start to set things with just a little bit of powder before grabbing some black gel liner and tight lining for the gods. We also want to get some messy liner up top as well and just smudge it out with a little brush. And once we have that like smoky grayish blend, we can move on to the rest of the look. For powder blush, I'm going to keep the placement relatively high. I think it's going to look good blending into the red that we already have in our eyes. And for the lips, I'm gonna use this like red liquid blush to kind of just like add some color back in. Then I'm gonna finish by filling in my brows a little bit, hitting some fluffy mascara, and finally a wig that shows just how exhausted we really are. And that is my best attempt at tired girl makeup. How did I do? I just found out that the ladies of the internet have come up with yet another ridiculous beauty trend called the tired girl aesthetic, where they use makeup to make themselves appear absolutely exhausted because according to them,
Why are we looking at the skyline? There's nothing going on. Nothing going on. Why are we looking at the skyline? There's nothing going on. See if there's anything interesting here. Oh, well, one thing I do want to do is I want to look, since Max Velocity is trying to insist that there's bad weather in Ohio. I wanted to look at a weather map for Ohio. See if there's any sort of kind of watches. Oh, we do have severe, well, maybe here. Hold on a sec. Because it'll show for like the entire state of Ohio sometimes. And not just specifically where I live. Yes, we are under a severe thunderstorm watch until 11. Okay, it is 7:41. I do want to come back after a little bit here and play a game. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up for a little bit. Maybe get some walking in. Because I just been kind of sitting around, taking it easy today. All right. I might see you all later. Bye.